Some say a church dies when its doors close, but here in Valls, Bluff, St. Elizabeth's didn't die. It simply waited. For years after its last parishioner passed away, locals whispered that the bell still rang at dusk, even though the rope had long been cut. Was it the wind? Memory? Or something finishing what a congregation once began? Tonight, we step inside the quiet that remains and listen. St. Elizabeth's Catholic Church rose in 1912, a white wooden chapel built near the edge of the Arkansas River. The air smelled of cypress and river reeds as the first families arrived. Farmers, fishermen, ferry captains, they came carrying hymnals worn from travel, pressing through the doors like sunlight through fog. Inside, the sanctuary glowed with hand-carved pews and blue-stained glass imported from St. Louis. The first Mass was so crowded that people stood outside along the dirt road just to hear the hymns drift through open windows. This church wasn't grand, it wasn't wealthy, but it had something stronger, a congregation stitched together by river, land, and faith. And at its center, a young girl named Clara. She would one day become the church's last heartbeat. The 1920s danced with weddings, white lace, borrowed veils, bells ringing over the riverbank. Children ran under the pews, their laughter mixing with incense and choir voices. St. Elizabeth's became the town's anchor, a place to celebrate harvest, to pray during floods, to mourn during lean winters. Every Easter, the sanctuary filled with lilies so fragrant that the priests joked they could wake the saints themselves. And every Christmas, the entire town gathered for a midnight mass lit only by candles, the flames trembling like fragile halos. This was a church woven into daily life, simple. Steady, alive. But time has a way of thinning even the strongest threads. One by one, families moved or passed away. A congregation of dozens became one of a handful, and eventually, just one. Her name was Clara Mayfield, born the same year the church opened. She attended her first Mass here as an infant and her last as an old woman with silver hair. For years, she unlocked the doors every Sunday, even when she was the only one sitting in the pews. Locals say that during her final winter, someone saw her speaking softly toward the altar, as if answering a voice no one else could hear. What she said in that moment remains unknown. But a week later, the doors of St. Elizabeth's closed for the final time. And here's the part that locals still whisper about. The night Clara died, a fisherman swears he heard the church bell ring once. Just once. Clear as glass. In a building with no one inside and no rope attached to the bell. Was it goodbye? A welcome? Or something unfinished? Finally completing its breath. When the church lost its last parishioner, time moved in. Pews collected dust like folded memories. Sunlight fell through cracked glass in thin, trembling beams. Almost shy, the air changed. Still. Cool. Listening. Visitors who wandered in, hunters, hikers, drifters, wrote that the church felt strangely occupied, as if something gentle kept watch. Not haunting. Not eerie. Just present. A presence shaped by decades of prayers, wedding vows, whispers of comfort, and one woman who refused to let faith die alone. Some claim the altar still smells faintly of lilies every Easter morning. Even though no flowers have been placed there in decades, maybe memory leaves a scent when it refuses to go. Today, St. Elizabeth stands quiet beneath tall Arkansas pines, its paint peeling. Its windows sighing in the wind, but inside, there is softness. Stillness. Warmth. You can hear the faint hum of what used to be a choir warming their voices, Clara whispering to the altar, bells ringing one last time into the river fog. Some buildings lose their purpose, others keep it, even when no one remains to witness it. St. Elizabeth's belongs to the latter, a church that learned how to wait for the living. For the gone. For anyone willing to listen. And if you stand inside long enough, you might hear it too. The faint echo of a final parishioner. Keeping one last promise. If you're still here, you're one of us now, a keeper of quiet places and forgotten echoes. Comment below, would you dare to visit an abandoned church like this? And subscribe. Before the next forgotten story opens. This is Dark Atlas Files. Where memory waits for those who listen.